Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase something, the farther it seems to slip away? This paradox is one of life's most intriguing truths. Imagine a life where success flows to you naturally, without relentless effort or endless striving. This story, inspired by Zen and Buddhist teachings, reveals how letting go of attachment to outcomes can unlock profound transformation. As we embark on this journey, let us dive deep into the art of surrender, the mystery of non-attachment, and the surprising power of simply being present. Chapter 1. The Chase That Blocks Success. Consider the age-old wisdom. He who clutches tightly loses what he seeks, while he who opens his hands receives without asking. This teaching illustrates a profound truth. Attachment creates resistance, and resistance often blocks the path to success. Our story begins with a young monk who embodied this struggle. Consumed by his desire to achieve enlightenment, he devoted hours daily to meditation, striving to empty his mind and connect with deeper truths. Yet, the harder he tried, the more peace eluded him. The monk often sat in the temple courtyard, cross-legged beneath an ancient Bodhi tree, his brow furrowed with concentration. His breaths, though steady, carried a sense of urgency, as if each inhalation demanded enlightenment to arrive. His inner dialogue was relentless. Why does it remain out of reach? What am I doing wrong? His desire to achieve became a barrier, creating a restless turbulence that overshadowed the stillness he sought. One particularly restless evening, the monk observed a gentle breeze weaving through the temple garden. Leaves swayed effortlessly, neither clinging to their branches nor resisting their inevitable fall to the earth. Struck by this natural harmony, he began to wonder, could his striving be akin to clutching a bird too tightly, suffocating the very freedom he longed to experience? Despite these reflections, his struggles persisted. His meditation sessions felt like battles, his mind a stormy sea refusing to be calmed. At times, he questioned whether peace was an illusion, a mirage designed to taunt him. He noticed physical manifestations of his turmoil, clenched fists, a tight jaw, and shallow breaths that betrayed his inner chaos. The harder he fought, the more distant his goal seemed, and this cyclical frustration weighed heavily on him. The turning point began during a serene afternoon near a waterfall, where he chose to meditate. The steady, rhythmic cascade of water mesmerized him. He noticed how the waterfall flowed naturally, without resistance, carving its path over rocks and roots. It did not demand or strive, it simply was. As he meditated in its presence, a subtle shift occurred. His breaths grew deeper, his thoughts quieter, though he was unaware of the change at first. The waterfall seemed to whisper a silent lesson, inviting him to surrender rather than control. That evening, the monk approached his master to share his observations. "Master," he said, "the waterfall flows without struggle, yet achieves its destination. Why do I find peace so elusive despite my effort?" The master, a wise and serene figure, listened patiently. "You see the water's ease," he replied, "but have you considered its journey? It neither resists nor hastens. It trusts gravity and time, allowing nature to guide its course. You must do the same. Stop demanding peace to arrive, create the conditions for it to flourish." These words planted a fragile seed of understanding within the monk. Yet, his inner struggle was far from over. Each attempt to meditate without attachment felt like a paradox. How could he desire non-attachment without clinging to the desire itself? His path to enlightenment was not a straight road but a winding trail through frustration, doubt, and moments of clarity. One day, while meditating near a waterfall, he observed the water's effortless flow. It did not force its path but surrendered to gravity, reaching the river below with ease. Inspired, the monk began to see nature's wisdom. But understanding alone was not enough. He wanted tangible results. Frustration mounted as he pushed himself harder, his mind restless and his heart yearning. This cycle of striving and disappointment deepened his struggle, leaving him wondering if peace was truly attainable. Chapter 2. The Master's Wisdom. Seeing the monk's struggle, his master offered a story. A farmer, plagued by drought, prayed desperately for rain. Despite his efforts to dig trenches and lament his misfortune, his fields remained dry. A wise wanderer advised him to stop chasing rain and focus on nurturing the soil. Though skeptical, the farmer shifted his focus. Soon, rain came unbidden, bringing a bountiful harvest. The master explained, "When you stop grasping, you make room for miracles to descend." This parable illuminated the monk's path. "Stop chasing peace like the farmer chased rain," the master said. "Tend to your practice without expectation. The results will come, but not through force. These words planted a seed of curiosity in the monk's mind. Could it be that his relentless effort was the very obstacle preventing his progress? Chapter 3. The Struggle to Let Go. Determined, the monk embraced non-attachment. Yet, letting go was easier said than done. As he meditated, his thoughts wandered. Am I doing this right? When will peace come? Doubts arose, but deep within, he sensed that true transformation required patience and faith. Each day brought new challenges, testing his resolve and commitment. One day, he observed a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. Wanting to help, he reached out, but his master stopped him. If you interfere, the butterfly will never gain the strength to fly. Its struggle is essential for transformation. The monk saw a parallel in his own journey. Enlightenment could not be forced, it had to unfold naturally. Gradually, he shifted his focus. Instead of meditating to achieve peace, he meditated to be present. Instead of striving for perfection, he embraced imperfection. Subtle changes emerged, his breath deepened, his thoughts quieted, and his heart lightened. Like the waterfall, he flowed effortlessly, finding peace already within him. This newfound approach to meditation felt liberating, as if a weight he had carried for years was finally lifted. Chapter 4. The Art of Letting Go. The monk's transformation inspired others. He often recounted stories to his students to illustrate the beauty of non-attachment. One of his most beloved tales was about an archer. This archer, renowned for his skill, became obsessed with hitting the bullseye every time. His obsession made his hand tremble and his focus waver, leading him to miss repeatedly. Frustrated, he sought the advice of an elder, who calmly observed him for a while before speaking. "Your grip is too tight, and your mind is cluttered with expectations," the elder said. "Relax, trust your training, and let the arrow fly without fear." The archer heeded this advice, and to his amazement, his aim improved significantly. Tension clouds clarity, but surrender sharpens focus, the elder explained, a lesson the monk shared frequently with those struggling to let go. The monk applied this wisdom to his own life and encouraged his students to do the same. He found profound joy in tending to the temple garden, delighting in the act of planting rather than fixating on whether the flowers would bloom perfectly. He often spoke of the satisfaction he derived from teaching younger monks, emphasizing that his self-worth did not hinge on their successes or failures. To illustrate, he once said, "The joy of teaching lies in the giving, not in the outcome. Whether the seed takes root or not, the act of planting is its own reward." As he embraced non-attachment in all areas of his life, the monk discovered unparalleled freedom. He shared an anecdote from his past. During his early days in the monastery, he would eagerly await validation from his master after completing a task. Over time, he realized that this need for approval tethered him, keeping him from true growth. By relinquishing his need for control and external validation, he unearthed a profound sense of inner peace. This transformation didn't only resonate within the walls of the temple. Villagers who visited the temple began to notice a change in the monk's demeanor. His presence exuded calmness, and his words carried a quiet yet profound wisdom. One villager, inspired by the monk's teachings, shared how letting go of his attachment to a failed harvest allowed him to approach the next season with a fresh perspective, ultimately leading to a bountiful yield. The monk's teachings rippled outward, touching lives in ways he never sought but deeply appreciated. He often ended his lessons with a metaphor. Non-attachment is like holding a bird in your hands. Grip it too tightly, and you harm it. Hold it too loosely, and it may fly away. The key is to find the balance, to care without clinging, to act without expecting, and to love without binding. Chapter 5. Embracing the Present. A younger monk once asked, "If letting go brings results, should we stop setting goals?" The elder replied, "Goals are like stars in the night sky, guides, not destinations." Letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means loosening your grip on the outcome and immersing yourself in the journey. To illustrate, he compared life to a dance. A dancer does not strive to finish quickly, but immerses in each step, trusting the rhythm. Similarly, when you stop obsessing over results, you discover the joy of the process. Paradoxically, the results often come naturally. These insights encouraged the younger monk to approach his practice with a lighter heart, free from the chains of expectation. Chapter 6. Challenges and Triumphs. Letting go is simple in concept but challenging in practice. Many students asked, How can I release attachment to something that matters deeply? The monk explained, letting go does not mean indifference. It means releasing the chains of obsession and trusting in life's timing. He demonstrated this through a test. Placing a petal on a bowl of water, he asked students to retrieve it without spilling a drop. Forceful attempts failed, but when he gently tilted the bowl, the petal floated effortlessly to the edge. When you force a situation, you disturb its balance. Patience and harmony bring results, he said. This lesson resonated deeply with the students, who began to see how their own struggles mirrored the test. They realized that life's challenges required the same delicate balance of effort and surrender. Chapter 7. The Subtle Irony of Non-Attachment. The monk noticed an irony. Those who practiced non-attachment achieved more than those who clung desperately to goals. A potter, once obsessed with creating the perfect vase, adopted a playful, relaxed approach. To his surprise, his work improved, and he became renowned for its beauty. I stopped striving for perfection and focused on the joy of shaping clay. In doing so, perfection found me, the potter explained. Similarly, the monk observed transformations in others who embraced non-attachment. Their lives seemed to flow more effortlessly, filled with unexpected successes and joys. This subtle irony underscored the power of trusting life's natural rhythm. Chapter 8. Trusting life's flow. As the monk neared the end of his life, he reflected on the profound transformation within him. Life is a river. Swim against the current, and you exhaust yourself. Surrender to the flow, and you are carried effortlessly to your destination. Trust the river, trust life, and trust yourself. In his final days, he often recounted the struggles of his earlier years to his students. There was a time, he would say, when I tried to mold life to fit my desires, as if it were clay in my hands. But life is not a substance to shape, it is a current to follow. He described how, through countless meditations, he came to understand that true strength lay not in resisting the tide but in harmonizing with it. His reflections extended to his relationships. The monk spoke of moments when he had clung to the approval of others, striving to meet expectations that were not his own. It was like swimming upstream, he said. The harder I pushed, the farther I felt from myself. But when I let go, I found that authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn to those who live in harmony with their truth. He also shared vivid memories of nature's teachings, which had guided his understanding. One story often recounted involved a leaf carried by the wind. The leaf does not resist its journey. It flutters, swirls, and lands where it may. Watching it, I realized that life carries us, just as the wind carries the leaf. Our task is not to control the wind, but to trust it. The monk's meditative practices had evolved over the years. Once filled with effort and striving, they became spaces of deep surrender. In those moments of stillness, he told his disciples, I felt as though I were merging with the river of existence. There was no separation, no struggle, only flow. His teachings were rich with metaphors, each illustrating the art of trust. Imagine a seed, he said. It does not strain to grow. It simply rests in the soil, trusting the sun and rain to nourish it. We too must plant ourselves in the present moment, trusting life to provide what we need. As his health declined, the monk's wisdom only deepened. He reminded his students that surrender was not a sign of weakness, but of profound strength. To trust life's flow, he said, requires courage. It means embracing uncertainty, releasing control, and opening yourself to the unknown. One day, sitting by the river that had inspired so many of his teachings, the monk closed his eyes and spoke his final lesson. Life's flow is not always gentle. There are rapids and whirlpools, times when the current feels overwhelming. But even then, trust. For the river knows its course, and it will carry you home. His words lingered in the air, a final gift to his students, who carried them in their hearts long after his passing. His final teaching resonated deeply. Let go, and you will find that everything you seek is already within you. These words became a mantra for his students, guiding them through their own journeys of self-discovery. Chapter 9. Living the Legacy. The monk's wisdom did not end with his passing. His teachings became a timeless legacy, inspiring generations to live with grace and trust. Through his stories, his students learned to navigate life's challenges with patience and humility. The temple flourished as a haven of peace, its gardens blooming as a testament to the power of nurturing without clinging. Each student found personal meaning in the monk's lessons. Some discovered harmony in their relationships, while others found clarity in their work. The teachings of non-attachment transcended the temple, spreading to neighboring villages and beyond. It became a beacon for those seeking peace in a world often consumed by striving. The elder monk's wisdom became a beacon for generations, reminding them that fulfillment lies not in grasping but in releasing, not in striving but in surrendering. His legacy invites us to trust life's rhythm, embrace the present moment, and discover that the results we seek come naturally when we let go. By living with grace and faith, we align ourselves with the boundless flow of existence, uncovering the peace and joy that were within us all along.